A Danish patient with lupus vulgaris, photographed circa 1900, provides a haunting portrait of the skin disease before Dr. Niels Finson's revolutionary light therapy offered the first effective treatment and ultimately earned him a Nobel Prize in Medicine. The Texas Track Club of Abilene, in a 1964 Sports Illustrated feature, brought unapologetic glamour to the track. Their stylized beehives and makeup a bold statement of femininity that defied the era's athletic conventions. Ernest Hemingway, aboard his beloved boat Pilar in Cuba circa 1960, sits in the sanctuary that inspired the old man in the sea. The iconic vessel, captained by his friend Gregorio Fuentes, was later gifted to the Cuban government and preserved as a national treasure. The Beatles, finding a moment of escape in a Miami pool during their frenetic first U.S. tour in 1964, are captured in a rare, candid state. The image reveals the playful camaraderie of the four young men at the center of the global storm of Beatlemania. This jawbone reveals not Egyptian, but Etruscan ingenuity, showcasing a sophisticated dental bridge from Italy, circa 630 BCE. Crafted from gold wire to bind real or ivory teeth, these prosthetics were masterworks of early cosmetic dentistry, worn by elite women to restore a perfect smile. In a surreal domestic scene from 1939, photographer Bert Hardy captured his son Michael with Ming, the London Zoo's star giant panda. The whimsical backyard encounter reflects the public's innocent adoration for the beloved animal celebrity on the very cusp of a world war. A boy's proud portrait with his atomic disintegrator pistol epitomizes 1950s childhood, a time when fantasies of space exploration were fueled by the very real anxieties of the atomic age. Judy Garland and Toto in a publicity still for The Wizard of Oz, 1939. The career-defining role that launched her into superstardom and cemented her image as a timeless cinematic icon of hope. A young Filipino girl sits in a simulated village at the 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis, Missouri. A photograph that documents the cruel and dehumanizing practice of human zoos and the exploitation of indigenous peoples in the name of entertainment and colonial propaganda. Marilyn Monroe is photographed in her West Hollywood apartment by Bob Bierman for a feature article by her trusted friend Sidney Skolsky, circa July 1953. An intimate series of images that captured the star at the peak of her fame in one of her most private and personal settings. Geologist Thomas Griffith Taylor and meteorologist Charles Wright at the entrance of a grotto in an iceberg with the Terra Nova ship in the background, Antarctica, January 1911. A Bedouin warrior is photographed in a studio in Jerusalem, circa 1900. A portrait that captures the distinct clothing and weaponry of a nomadic people who were a crucial part of the desert landscape at the turn of the century. Anne Margaret and Elvis Presley on the set of Viva Las Vegas, 1964. An image that captures the electric on-screen chemistry that blossomed into a real-life romance, defining one of Hollywood's most captivating and enduring relationships. Vladimir Lenin, the founder of the Soviet Union, is seen in his final known photograph with his sister and doctor in Gorky, Russia, May 1923. Sailors on the USS Bunker Hill aircraft carrier worked to save their ship after it was hit by 2 Japanese kamikazes off the coast of Okinawa, Japan, on May 11, 1945. Mickey Free, also known as Felix Telles, an Apache scout, is shown here after a life that saw him kidnapped as a boy and raised as a warrior on the Arizona frontier, circa 1880s. Vicki Dugan and Anita Ekberg, captured at a Hollywood party in 1957, epitomized the era's bombshell glamour, with Ekberg on the cusp of screen immortality in La Dolce Vita, and Dugan earning notoriety as the provocative model known as the Bat. Muhammad Ali, the former heavyweight champion, stands with a man he just talked down from a 9th-story ledge in Los Angeles, 1981. An image of heroism that transcended sports and proved his compassion and humanity were as powerful as his boxing skills. Henry Behrens, a performer once billed as the world's smallest man, dances with his cat in Worthing, 1956. The charming photo captures a private moment in a life defined by public spectacle. An Iceman with his heavy tongs and a block of ice is photographed in Houston, Texas, 1928. An image that captures a vital profession in the era before electric refrigeration, highlighting the grueling labor that brought this essential convenience to homes across America. John Jammy Reynolds, nicknamed the Human Fly, performs a rooftop balancing act in New York City, 1910s, a fearless stunt that captured the thrill-seeking spirit of the era. A young survivor of the Hiroshima bombing, photographed in the aftermath of World War II. The haunting portrait captures both the physical scars and enduring resilience of those who lived through the nuclear devastation. A young Finnish farmer turned sniper, Simo Heiha, known as the White Death, stands with his dog Kille during the Winter War of 1939 to 1940. He earned legendary status by reportedly scoring over 500 confirmed kills against Soviet forces. Shot in the jaw late in the war, he survived and returned to farm life, remaining humble despite his fame. Elizabeth Taylor, photographed in Hollywood in 1956 at the height of her early superstardom after Giant, embodied timeless glamour and later became a legend for her groundbreaking AIDS activism. Trainer Charlemont trains a lady in the art of French boxing, 1921. Lee Miller, a female American combat photographer, taking a bath in Hitler's Munich apartment, April 30th, 1945. Actress Helen Mirren as Cleopatra, circa 1965. Sainte Thérèse of Lisieux, dressed as Joan of Arc, holds a banner inscribed with Jesus Marie for a play performed in her monastery, circa 1895. The lily on her banner symbolizes French royalty and highlights her role as the Maid of Orléans. Benito Mussolini, then Italy's dictator, works shirtless in a field during the Battle for Grain, circa 1936. The public relations stunt was part of a campaign to boost domestic food production and promote an image of Mussolini as a man of the people. A Japanese soldier dies by his own hand with a grenade to avoid capture by an Australian soldier at Cape Ndiadere, New Guinea, on December 18, 1942. His defiant final act was a testament to the Bushido Code, which valued honor and loyalty above life itself. A young couple enjoys milkshakes at a diner, an iconic setting for teenage dating in the 1950s. The image captures the innocent romance and leisurely social culture of the post-war era. A civilian drives past U.S. Army anti-aircraft missiles aimed over the Florida Straits in Key West, Florida, October 27, 1962. A moment of high tension during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The scene underscores the precarious balance between everyday life and the imminent threat of nuclear war. A boy poses with 2 lobsters caught off the New Jersey coast, 1916. Though a delicacy today, lobster was once considered garbage meat. So plentiful that it was fed to the poor, prisoners, and servants. By the late 19th century, railroads and canning technology helped transform its reputation, turning the once despised crustacean into a luxury item. Audrey Hepburn poses with a cat, a photo by Walter Carone, 1951. Though an animal lover, she found the iconic scene where she abandons a cat in Breakfast at Tiffany's difficult to film. The Ingalls family, Charles, Caroline, Mary, Laura, Carrie, and Grace, poses for a rare group portrait, 1894. This is the only known photograph to feature all members of the family who inspired Laura Ingalls Wilder's beloved Little House series, capturing them just before Laura's move to Mansfield, Missouri. Arnold Genthy's Looking Down Sacramento Street photograph captures the aftermath of the San Francisco earthquake on April 18, 1906. Amid the ruins and the smoke of the still raging fire, a calm crowd gathers, a surreal image of a city on the brink of complete destruction. A massive pile of bison skulls at Michigan Carbon Works in Rougeville, Michigan, circa 1892, a grim testament to the commercial slaughter that brought the American bison to the brink of extinction. The bones were processed and sold for fertilizer, glue, and other goods. A boy sells Coca-Cola from a roadside stand, photographed by Walker Evans in 1936. This classic image captures a glimpse of entrepreneurial life during the Great Depression. Keith Sapsford, a 14-year-old boy, falls to his death from the wheel well of a Japan Airlines DC-8 in Sydney, Australia, on February 22, 1970. A tragic final moment unintentionally captured by photographer John Gilpin, which became a somber warning against the perils of stowaway attempts. Three young women pose playfully with a bicycle in a photo from circa 1895, a joyful image that captures the newfound freedom and rebellious spirit the bicycle brought to women in the late Victorian era. Natalie Wood poses for a portrait during the peak of her acting career in the 1960s, a time when she famously stated, "If I didn't believe in what I'm doing, I'd rather go to work in a dime store," a quote that embodied her conviction and authenticity on screen. A home economics class at Chevy Chase High School in Bethesda, Maryland, 1935. A striking photo of young women learning the domestic skills that were a central part of female education during the era. Three construction workers take a lunch break high on the cables of the St. John's Bridge in Portland, Oregon, 1931. A powerful image of the daring spirit and rugged camaraderie that defined early 20th century engineering. Actress Sophia Loren is photographed at the height of her stardom in the 1960s. An image of timeless elegance from a global icon who rose from a childhood of wartime hardship to become one of the most celebrated stars of her generation. If you love seeing history come alive through rare photos, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more moments from the past. A 20-mule team hauls borax wagons through Death Valley between 1883 and 1889. The teams were a marvel of logistical engineering, moving over 70,000 pounds of borax in a single trip across the harsh desert landscape. Two women are escorted off a beach by a police officer in Chicago, 1922. A scene that captures the bathing suit police and the societal tension between traditional modesty and the new freedoms of the Jazz Age. The public execution of serial killer Eugène Weidmann by guillotine in Versailles, France, on June 17, 1939. A chaotic and widely photographed event that prompted the French government to end all public executions. A black blizzard from the Dust Bowl engulfs a car on a road in the Great Plains, 1930s. An iconic image of the environmental catastrophe caused by severe drought and unsustainable farming, which left thousands displaced. Photographer Margaret Burke White takes a photo from atop the Chrysler Building in New York, circa 1930. A mugshot of Kalistros Max Thielicke, a German student who confessed to murdering his mother in Berlin, 1930. He later joined the Dirlewanger Brigade, an SS unit composed of convicted violent criminals. They committed atrocities so brutal that even other SS units were horrified. Anne Bancroft, pictured by photographer Nina Lean, is seen preparing for her role as Annie Sullivan in the 1959 Broadway production of The Miracle Worker, a career-defining performance that earned her a Tony Award and, upon reprising the role in the 1962 film, an Academy Award, cementing her place as a legendary actress. Howard Dully, a 12-year-old boy, becomes the youngest patient to undergo a transorbital lobotomy in San Jose, California, in 1960. A harrowing chapter in medical history that he would later recount in his memoir, My Lobotomy. A photograph of a patient with Hansen's disease in London, 1895, from the Wellcome Collection. A stark testament to the suffering and social stigma endured by those with the illness before it became curable with modern medicine. Holocaust survivor Gerda Weissman Klein, at the end of a 350-mile death march, is liberated by American soldiers in Germany, 1945. A powerful image of human resilience, where her harrowing journey ended and a new life began with her future husband. A U.S. soldier looks into a washroom mirror beneath a sign reading, "If you talk too much, this man may die." At Camp Hood, Texas, 1943, a striking and clever piece of wartime propaganda that made the cost of loose talk a personal one. Actor James Dean poses with his new Porsche 550 Spider in Los Angeles, 1955. A haunting image taken just a week before his fatal crash, forever tying it to the famous premonition of actor Alec Guinness. An early atmospheric diving suit, designed by inventor Chester E. McDuffie, is tested in New York, 1915. A fascinating image of a prototype designed to protect deep-sea divers from the immense pressure of the ocean. Jean Libera, the double-bodied man, poses for a photograph showcasing his parasitic twin, Jacques, in the early 20th century. Born in Rome, Italy, in 1884, Libera was a successful sideshow performer who lived a full life, marrying and fathering 4 children. His life challenges societal perceptions of disability and highlights the diverse ways individuals navigate and thrive despite physical differences. Archaeologist Matthew Sterling poses next to one of the colossal Olmec heads he helped uncover in Mesoamerica, circa 1940s, a monumental discovery that revealed the artistry and power of one of the earliest civilizations in the Americas. George Moore, the living skeleton, and Fred Howe, the fat man, stage a boxing match in the late 19th century. An unconventional act that turned their striking physical differences into a popular and comedic spectacle for sideshow audiences of the era. A traveling salesman refuels his gasoline-powered motorized roller skates at a gas station in the United States, 1961. A whimsical image that perfectly captures the era's blend of technological novelty and automotive culture. Princeton University students pose for a photograph after a bruising freshman-sophomore snowball fight in 1893. An image that captures a raw, unromanticized moment from a fiercely competitive college tradition. French neurologist Guillaume Benjamin Amand Duchenne carries out an experiment in electrophysiology in the 1850s. A fascinating and controversial study that used electrical probes and photography to scientifically map the human face and its expressions. Ella Harper, the Camel Girl, poses for a photograph in the late 1800s. An image of a sideshow performer who famously left a life of exploitation to pursue dignity and a quiet life. Wojtek the Bear, an officially enlisted soldier of the Polish Second Corps, sits for a photo with a comrade during World War II. A testament to the remarkable bonds of comradeship forged by soldiers in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Laika, the first living creature to orbit the Earth, is seen inside the Soviet Sputnik 2 spacecraft in 1957. An image that stands as a powerful and poignant symbol of the bravery and sacrifice that fueled the early space race. Makeup artist Jack Pierce applies makeup to actor Boris Karloff on the set of Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. A behind-the-scenes glimpse of the legendary collaboration that created one of cinema's most enduring and iconic characters. Isaac Sprague, known as the living human skeleton, suffered from a mysterious wasting disease that left him weighing just 43 pounds as an adult. Exhibited in P.T. Barnum's shows, he became both a curiosity and a tragic symbol of how human difference was once exploited for spectacle. Olive Oatman, captured as a child in 1851, was later adopted by the Mojave people, who gave her the distinctive chin tattoos seen here. Though she eventually returned to Western society, her story became a symbol of cultural collision on the American frontier. A baby sits in a cage suspended from an apartment window in London, 1930s. A striking image of a bygone parenting trend that was once considered a vital practice for a child's health and development. First Secretary of the Polish United Workers' Party. Władysław Gomułka receives a kiss from a fan, 1966. Inventor Hugo Gernsback demonstrates his television goggles for Life magazine in 1963, an early and awkward vision of virtual reality long before it became mainstream. Attilio Gatti, an Italian traveler and explorer, poses with a gorilla and two Mbuti companions in the Belgian Congo, circa 1930s. An image that highlights the colonial-era practice of capturing exotic animals and people for public spectacle and scientific study. English archaeologist Howard Carter examines the innermost sarcophagus of King Tutankhamun near Luxor, Egypt, in 1922, a pivotal moment of discovery that captivated the world and revealed the treasures of a lost pharaoh. French soldiers, known as the Gueules Cassées, broken faces, attend a banquet in Paris, 1925. A solemn and powerful image that captures the brutal physical cost of World War I and the fierce solidarity of the men who endured it. Actress Natalie Wood poses in character as the tenacious journalist Maggie Dubois on the set of The Great Race, 1965. An image that captures the star's versatility and embodies the film's playful spirit of a bygone era. Freddie McIntosh, an 8-year-old boy, poses in a sun protection suit in Edinburgh, Scotland, 1961. A poignant image that highlights the daily challenges faced by those with rare conditions that make their skin extremely sensitive to daylight. A scene from the chaotic 1967 Bond parody, Casino Royale. The giant champagne coupe symbolized the film's lavish and surreal spectacle of the era. The original Hollywoodland sign, seen circa 1925, was an ad for a housing tract. The last 4 letters were dropped in 1949, creating a global icon. A 22-year-old Audrey Hepburn, in her 1951 screen test, reveals the unique gamine charm that would soon captivate the world and make her a global style icon. A masterpiece by armorer Filippo Negroli, this 1543 Burgonet embodies Renaissance artistry, with a mermaid forming its crest from a single steel plate. Photographed by George Silk for Life in 1945, singer Linda Lombard prepares backstage in New York. The image reveals the quiet, personal routine behind the public fantasy of post-war nightclub glamour. Often mistaken for a real child laborer, this is a circa 1900 studio portrait of a toddler in a novelty miner's costume. Sally Mann's 1989 photo, Candy Cigarette, captures her daughter's faux defiance, blurring the line between childhood innocence and adult attitudes. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.